everyone, and welcome to I'm a Fan. I'm your host, Kimber Eberly, and today I have a very special guest with me. He's a musician, an engineer. I believe he has his own recording studio. He's also a teacher and originally came from Lares, Puerto Rico. Is that correct?
Lares, Puerto Rico, yes.
Yeah, Edwin Santiago Pupa.
That's correct.
And I know you as Pupa.
That's right.
So thank you for coming today.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, really.
You just came off the beach in some sweltering heat, right?
Yes, by the Dolphins entrance on the boardwalk, Staten Island. And I set up right on the boardwalk. I've been doing this for years. This year I've been a little late in doing it, just because I've been busy and stuff, but I have all this mini gear that's battery operated, and I set up and put out the basket. Donations are accepted, and and I just play all this eclectic music and rhythms and stuff with my backing tracks and stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
So I want to talk about, first of all, you coming to New York in the 1970s, and I know you moved here, transient from Puerto Rico, down to the Lower East Side.
Right.
So at which time, I think it was like a war zone, as you described.
Yes.
Kind of a crazy place. And
it was a culture shock for me because
Yeah.
I knew of New York only through movies. When I was really young, we passed by, but we were little kids, and we stayed for a day or two. But this is now I'm a little older, and I went on my own. I remember I took a lot of albums with me for some reason, and a backpack, and went to visit, called my friend, told him I would be there, and I got to a place on Cherry Street on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and I found this building, like industrial building, and I didn't know where I was. It was daytime. I rang the bell. Nobody's answering. I called my friend, Luis Lopez, And I said, I'm asking for Luis Lopez. They said, Luis Lopez has been in a motorcycle accident, is in the hospital. And I go, I tell them, I don't know what to do. I was supposed to come and meet him. I just got off a plane from Puerto Rico. He says, oh, we'll go downstairs. We'll open the door for you. And I'm like surprised because this place looked like an industrial place. To my surprise, they had an organization called Charras. And Charras had 3 or 4 of the floors, and they had workshops on one of the floors. It's kind of the stuff that we do now, but they were doing it then. And kept on going up these staircases until we arrived to this lobby that had all these geodesic domes, miniature geodesic domes everywhere.
Wow.
And I'm going like, wow, this is so cool. And there's a giant geodesic dome in the loft as the living quarters for somebody and a couple of other spaces. And to my surprise, I did not know this, my sister and her husband were living in the geodesic dome. And they come out of the geodesic dome and says, Brother Pupa, what are you doing here? So what are you doing here? I had no idea that you were here. So that's kind of like my introduction to the Lower East Side.
Wow.
The first time.
How long did you live in Manhattan before you?
Many, many, many years, because I kept on going back and forth and stuff. So, I mean, it was a while.
So ultimately, what year did you end up in Staten Island?
Staten Island, it was right before my daughter was born, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. I had to be 1990 or 1994. Okay, close to that.
All right. And you studied music, the Pioneer Marine School in New York?
Well, that was boat building. Boat building and the Pioneer Marine School. That's what that was.
So you studied how to build boats?
How to build boats, how to sell boats, navigation. I did all that kind of stuff.
But
because when I lived in Puerto Rico, I mean, I was in the water all the time. I had my own speedboat and everything. But there was this program, Pioneer Marine School, and so I did welding. I learned carpentry and carpentry for boats.
That's amazing. I didn't even know something like that existed. And
it was wonderful. It was a great experience. Eventually, I started working with Charras with the domes. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I met Buckminster Fuller, which was the guy that patented the idea of geodesic domes. Just coincidence. These crazy coincidences.
So how did you end up then, studying music and being this amazing guitar player that you are? I know, like you've been in many bands. So how did that come about?
With me, I was very interested in music from a very early age, living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My father was a minister of church, and he played guitar in the church. He had a Martin acoustic guitar, which years later I sold to Mandolin Brothers.
Yeah?
And it was worth a fortune.
We'll talk after about that. I'm curious. Yeah.
But my father basically taught me, my first chords and everything, and then little by little I learned about the Beatles and R&B music and pop music, and the interest just kept on. My father tried to take me to a music teacher. I told him, keep your money.
Are you all self-taught then?
Yes, self-taught.
Wow,
everything.
that's oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you go about teaching yourself? I mean, I'm self-taught too, but I've had friends that went to the School of Berkeley, so they gave me little charts, so I learned chords,
right?
Like the names of chords and stuff like that. But like you're prolific with notes and scales. How did you teach yourself that?
You know, it was just the interest. I was lucky enough that I met a lot of guys that were in the business, that
Okay.
were playing, that were really good, and got a lot of good advice, which I try to pass on
And
even now.
you jammed with them though,
I
right?
jam with them, and they would sit down and teach me things. What do you think of this? But a lot of the stuff I was just making it up as I go along. I remember when I first was playing, I was doing Jimi Hendrix, and I was doing Beatles and doing Eric Clapton and stuff like that. And it wasn't until one day I say, wait a minute, everybody's tuning to the same tune, like 440
Yeah.
tuning.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. I knew how to tune my guitar by ear, but I would say, why does it sound different this time? Then I realized, oh, because when you tune, you always got to tune it.
Yeah.
So I knew how to tune, but I was just tuning it to either
To the
flat or sharp.
Yeah.
As long as it was tuned, I could play. But later, then I realized I need to tune it 440.
Right.
And then, nowadays I can do, lower tuning or whatever, to create different types of sounds and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
combinations and things like that.
So, you told me about your father being a musician. I was going to ask you that if there were musicians in your family, because a lot of times when you're a self-taught musician, your inspiration comes from somebody that you know growing up.
Right.
So that's great that your father was a musician. Was anybody else in your family musician? Or
Well, my sister sang.
Yeah.
I have four sisters. Three of them sang either with somebody in a band or whatever. My brother dabbled in music, but he never stuck to it. I had a cousin of mine. I have a cousin of mine, Eliot Martinez, and he, on a trip to New York, he taught me my first real chord song, which was "The House of the Rising Sun"
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
Animals. And that was the first song I learned from beginning to end, which is not really an easy song to learn because it not only does it have a lot of chords, but the way the chords repeat and then
Yeah.
change a little bit is the sticky part about that. But he taught me that, so that I always give him credit for that.
Yeah, no Stairway to Heaven, because every time you go into guitar stores, and I swear to God, I recently
Yes.
was in Sam Ash, and I kept thinking to myself, I know I'm going to go in, and I was looking at acoustic guitars, and there was somebody in there playing
Play-
Stairway to Heaven, and I'm like, you just can never get away from me.
Well,
Like,
mainly guitar players are show-offs.
Yeah.
They really are. So if you play Stairway to Heaven, or what's the one of
Freebird?
Freebird, or the ones from Guns N' Roses?
Oh, yeah, I know which one you're talking
Sweet
about.
Child of Mine.
Yes.
You're basically just telling people, look at me, I can play this.
Yeah.
Because
And Blackbird's another one.
right, that's another, and that's
Yeah.
not an easy one either.
No, it's not. No.
But it's a way of just like telling other folks, look at me, I'm doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's funny that you mentioned that because I was at the beach now playing, like I said, and the songs that I'm playing, I mean, they change from African to bossa nova to cha-cha-cha to Latin to swing to blues
I love
to
it.
rock.
Yeah.
I just love music and I love different combinations. I'm not like one of those persons that sticks to a genre and says, okay, this is what I'm playing forever.
Right.
This is what I like. I like different stuff, but I really like the ambient stuff too, the stuff that's very melodic and sentimental.
Yeah, I've
that
recently
kind
been
of stuff.
into like chill music.
Oh, absolutely.
right?
That's
Yeah, I've been
it's
sort of
just
stuck in that
beautiful.
right now.
It's
It is
beautiful
nice.
stuff. It's not
Yeah.
for everybody,
No.
but I like it. So
So I'm curious, how did you get started with the recording studio? Because I know you've been an engineer for quite a while, producing other people's music.
Right.
How did you start off
Well,
with that?
I had my studio on the Lower East Side, Tu Casa Studio on Avenue B between 6th and 7th Street.
Yeah.
Legendary place. Many first punk rock bands
Oh, wow.
started there. Henry Rollins, Black Flag, the Smithereens wrote
Wow.
many of their albums there. So all these people used to rehearse there, and little by little we started recording. We actually went to some of the best studios in New York to record for a band called Loisaida, and started liking it. So started buying my own equipment and stuff. Was always trying to get somebody hired to either do the videotaping or the sound. And what I learned was that a lot of this stuff I could do it better. And I said, why don't I just stop spending all this money doing this stuff and start just doing it myself? So little by little, I started. It
I believe that because most self-taught musicians have a super good ear, for music. They could tell you what note they're hearing without seeing the chart.
Right, exactly. So like I was living in Florida in the 80s, and I was working in a music store, really good music store there. And I had this apartment, really nice apartment by the waterfront, and I didn't have really no place to set up anything. So I took the closet and I emptied it out and I put some mics in there
You made
and a
your
tape
singing
deck,
booth?
and I started doing this like recording.
It's great.
But I realized right away, I said, because I emptied it out and everything, the sound changed in the closet, and I was getting all this hiss and stuff. So it was a learning process. So I said to myself, this is good. I'm in the right direction, but I have to learn how to eliminate all this hiss and stuff that I'm getting. So little by little, I started understanding more, and I started meeting people that were real professionals. I had a friend of mine that he was on tour with Prince, and he worked at Electric Ladyland studio.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm impressed.
He used to give me a lot of advice. He used to call me when he was in California and getting ready to go, Prince to do his show. And he said, I'm getting ready, like, what a boring life do I have, doing sound for Prince.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But these guys would give me, they would give me a lot of hints of what they do to get their better sounds, and, how you deal with levels and this, and how you sweeten up the sound if it's too clean or this. And little by little, I started learning, trial and error, just doing it.
You had some really fantastic mentors, and like going through all of this.
I would say I've been really lucky in that sense. One of the last recordings I did for myself for 5 Miles Utopia in my studio.
That's on Staten Island now.
That's
you
on
have
Staten.
a studio.
That's in my backyard. My backyard in my house, and I had my friend. And now, I'm not going to remember his name for sure. That's what happens at old age.
It'll come to you later.
Frankie D'Agosta.
Okay.
And Frankie works a lot with us at CTV and stuff like that. But Frankie did the first Peter Frampton album, Aldo Meola, Kiss.
My God, I've seen all of them in concert.
Right, Kiss, Van Halen, and the list goes on and on and on. So I call him up and I say, Frankie, I'm doing my album, my band. Will you come and just sneeze in the room for me? Just sneeze in the room. I just want to be able to say that you were in the room.
Yeah.
So he came, and we winded up doing about 6 of the songs.
Oh, my God, that's
And what
great.
I was doing was an unplugged version of 5 Miles Utopia, because 5 Miles Utopia is rock, heavy guitar, bass, drums. So we did it semi-acoustic with acoustic bass. It's still electric, but acoustic bass, acoustic guitar, and Frankie helped me.
I'm gonna get myself together, going tonight. One of these days I'm gonna get myself together, going tonight. I'm gonna get together with my brothers and my sisters, going tonight. Gonna get together with my brothers and my sisters, going tonight. He said, la 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 la.
That's
So
great.
I'm
Yeah.
I can brag that I had Frankie
Yeah.
on this album. But if you listen to the CD, it's just it's precious.
Yeah.
What we did was
Oh,
really,
so is that
really nice.
out now or?
Well, yeah, we finished that right before the pandemic, and we were doing a release and stuff, and we had to cancel everything.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and let's face it, if people still have a CD player in their house, it's rare because
Yeah.
most of the stuff is downloaded
So
stuff.
do you have it online then, where you can go like Spotify
No,
or
nothing yet.
nothing?
It's still,
Okay.
I'm hoping that someday somebody say, "Where are these CDs? Where are these recordings?" I'll have them. I'll still
Yeah.
have them.
Okay,
So.
good. I want to see if I can get this right. It's Boricua.
There you go. Yeah, that's
Yes,
better.
guitar power. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, Boricua Guitar Power was that very good friend of mine, Kenny Tirado. We grew up together in Puerto Rico. Drummer, played with me. I was in Texas visiting him and stuff, and we had such a good time. We did music and everything. And a year later, whatever, we were talking, and he said to me, "Stay Boricua, bro," meaning, stay true to your culture and your stuff. And it just clicked in my head. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a tribute thing to not just myself, but the Boricuas, my guys from Puerto Rico that are a lot of them are renowned through the world as guitar players. But the fact that they play so many different styles. So Boricua Guitar Power, if you go see me play, you're gonna hear blues, you're gonna hear rock, you're gonna hear funk, African, bossa nova. You're going to hear all these different styles because the whole concept is that Boricuas are really good at dabbing into other styles of music.
That's great.
Not just the Latino, everything.
Right.
Rock, fusion,
I love that. I love that.
jazz.
Do you now? You recently started an open mic night, right?
Yes,
Is
yes.
that an ongoing thing?
For now, it is.
So where's that at? Where
That's Castleton Corner Pub is the place, and that's is that Rich? No, that's oh God.
is it Castleton Avenue or for?
No, no. What's the one that's? Oh, you know where Mexican Cantina is? What's that runs right in front of Mexican Cantina, Emana Road.
Do you have an address? Is
Yeah,
it-
but
Okay, well I'll look it up. I'll look it up and put it up.
yeah.
Yeah, but I know you're doing an open mic on what
On Monday,
night?
on
Monday
Mondays.
nights.
The next one is on the 15th. I was doing open mics with other people and stuff, and then somebody, Jennifer Lee Castillo, Jen the Rocker, she approached me and said, "Would you like to do your own one?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So that's what I've been doing. So I do the Boricua Guitar Power,
Yeah.
and then I bring people up either to play their own tunes or covers, or just jam together,
Yeah, nice.
improvise together. So
Nice.
it's fun.
Yeah, it sounds
It's
great.
fun,
I'll have to stop by one night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what projects are you working on now? And
I have a few dates in different places. I think we're going to be at Kilmeyer's with Peace Train.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be sitting in with them. The place over here by Gerby, what is it, Pepe's or?
you have a Facebook page though that you post all this on?
Yeah, Boricua Guitar Power. You can find
Okay.
me.
Okay, we'll look you up and keep
Yeah.
following and see where you're
Yeah,
gonna be.
yeah, because it changes. It's
Yeah.
once in a while it might be the same place, but usually it's different places.
And I like that you play with other bands and stuff too.
I
That's
try
really
to,
cool.
yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I know they didn't have did they have a summer back to the beach this year?
I think they have, but my criticism to that.
Uh-oh.
My criticism to that, because I played on a lot of them.
Yeah.
Why are they not paying the bands?
Right.
They pay the PA, they pay the promotion, they pay, but bands you'll get lucky.
That's not cool.
And nobody thinks about that. Everybody thinks, oh, if they're going to get their name on a
They're-
poster or
right,
something.
right.
And it's rare that they get their name on a poster because they just promote the event. They don't promote
Wow.
the individuals themselves because
Yeah.
then they would have to do a new poster.
Yeah.
they're great events. I go to a lot of them. Very
Well,
professional. A lot
yeah.
of good acts and everything.
Well, you know
But
what's
let's get them some money. Let's get the musicians money.
Yeah, what has been really excellent is SI Arts grants. Because I applied for a couple grants, but one was for music and art festival, and we got to pay the musicians, and also Maker Park got the same grant. Like we both got grants, and I know that they're having a lot of events, but I believe they pay their musicians
Right.
something too, which I think it should just be a given, because it's not fair. It really isn't.
They used to do it, from what I understand.
Yeah.
They were doing it for a while, but and then some new management in Staten Island came in. They figure, there's plenty of artists that want to play for free anyway, which is okay. I understand and everything.
But if you're an artist and contribute to that, then they're going to expect it.
Right.
And there's not a lot of places for musicians to play on
Play
Staten
the,
Island
pay
these
the
days.
musicians. Pay the
Yeah,
musicians.
yeah, yeah.
Especially those events. They're big events, and I know there's a budget for that
I
somewhere.
wonder if Westerly,
Yeah.
they have their folk festival. I'm sure they pay their musicians
Well, they're
something.
They're applying for grants and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
And
know.
that's the way to go.
That's the way to go. But not
Yeah.
everybody can get somebody to write up a good grant and
Yeah.
submit it on time and everything. It takes a little bit of knowledge to put that
Yeah.
together. It should
And
be a given. It should be a given. You do an event outdoors, pay the artists.
Yeah.
They got gear. They're moving the gear. It costs them to get there, even if
Yeah.
it's just to take care of the day.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I
so,
totally agree.
Anyways.
Yeah. So, Pupa, I want to thank you so much for coming on, and I had a little bit of time to sit down and chat with you. I really appreciate
Fantastic.
it. And I just want you to know I'm a fan.
That is so fantastic.
And, and I hope you come out to some of our events
Sure,
and
yes.
keep us informed of yours. And,
Yes.
and we'll be there for you.
Wonderful.
All right. And until next time, we'll see you then.